Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I am here with Vinni, who's on top of being my coach for roughly 10 years. Is known in Vietnam, is a talented Jiu-Jitsu black belt, a talented MMA fighter, and he's got some project in Vietnam that I hope he will share with us. So, first of all, first question, what do you think about the level of Jiu-Jitsu in Vietnam?
The level's good overall. Obviously, I kind of made a statement that the level here is like the level in the UK or Europe maybe 15 years ago. You know, like there's some decent guys, there's some decent coaches. Like we've got a few black belts here now, but it's just kind of getting, it's just kind of breaking, breaking the new. The guys are coming in, they're kind of learning about it. So it's good, and the public, are motivated for it. So everyone, trains hard and whatnot, but it's still back in, I don't know.
When you visited several gyms, right?
Mm.
Where have you been so far?
I was in Hanoi, trained there gave a couple of seminars there.
Right.
I went to Nha Trang, gave a seminar there. Been down here. I was here before, for a few months, and then had to go back, and I'm back for good.
Okay, right. So you had like a good opportunity to really gauge the level of everyone there. So you're saying that it was about like it was 15 years ago in Europe. What do you mean by that? I mean belt wise, you mean technical?
Yeah, like people can stay on board with what's current and new now because of YouTube, because of all that sort of stuff. But I don't necessarily think that countries ahead of it, because I remember I went to New York a few years ago, and it was the same sort of thing. Guys would be like, we're a little bit ahead of Europe and stuff like that. And I think not because of not anything technically, not because of motivations to train or anything like that, but if you have more people in the room. Yeah. So if you have, you look at here, and a busy class will be what, 15, 20 people. A busy class in a big gym in America of 50, 60 people. So the outliers in a class of 50, you're gonna guaranteed to get 5 good guys. In a class of 10 people, you might have 1 good guy. So it's kind of like that. Like you're brought up by your training partners, and if you don't have many training partners, you can't really progress as easy. So it's kind of like that. And until it's more in the mainstream and a lot of people are training jiu-jitsu, it's always going to be a little bit behind.
Sure. And what would you think should be done to increase jiu-jitsu in Vietnam? Because if we face it, we don't have a lot of competition in Vietnam. Is that something that you think would improve the overall level of jiu-jitsu?
Obviously, because of the whole Corona incident now, a lot of comps got cancelled. The Mao, any of these. So it's not the best time, but comps being regular, guys being able to set up camp for certain competitions and plan training around that's definitely going to help the sport grow, and having a few big name guys or local guys that are brought up that have a fan. But
okay, right. So coronavirus at the moment, everybody's at home. What do you think people should be doing at home? Because we see so much video, so much people publishing what they're doing, and myself included, what you should do, but also all the instruction from this crazy world champion. As a coach yourself, as a black belt, what is your take on this free time?
But obviously there's only so much you can do, and guys in better positions than others, guys with mats at home, guys with grappling dummies, guys with Bulgarian bags. You can do a lot more stuff, but guys with not much research, watching tape, watching film of guys, and trying to learn concepts, overriding concepts, the same. What are the top guys doing, compared to the lower level guys, and then getting in shape, watching what you eat.
Yeah, true, definitely. And if you were to follow one guy, who would that be? Like one of the famous guys, would you go, I don't know, Roger Gracie, King Cornelius, or maybe even old school?
Like for content, like here now I'm gonna say some controversial stuff, you know.
No,
Like,
go for it.
no, like there's a lot of something I noticed before the whole thing. People would make stuff with the intention of being different, and it'll be little changes that aren't necessarily change, like stuff that they might not do. And it was just a sense of getting videos out and being like, oh look, this is how you should be doing it. Like I saw a guy, I won't mention the names. It was like, okay, the cross choke. He's like, everyone does this and then this, right? It's like, no, do it this way and then press down and then get it. And that doesn't work. So like, there's a lot of guys that just do stuff that's new with the idea of, oh, this is new, so you can get extra views and whatever. But I don't know, consistent like BJJ Scout has pretty good content.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was his name? Malachi Friedman. I've watched on YouTube recently. He gave out with the whole free instructional stuff on that Heisenberg guard or whatever. That was pretty cool. But there's loads of guys, you know. You just need to.
Yeah, they all release like free video, like Danaher. Everybody's rushing on Danaher on his system. I mean, I don't know, because I don't know how you feel that, but without someone to guide you through the mistake, is that something that you can learn from? Or?
Yeah, true. But again, like what are guys doing now? Like if they have guys to train with at home, you know, then it's a lot different than choking your girlfriend, you know, or whatever.
Or the dog.
Or the dog, yeah. You know, so it depends what people have. But yeah, drilling stuff that you're doing wrong is definitely going to be a problem, you know, because when you do come back, it's going to be like, oh, but I trained this 1,000 times and now it's definitely a mistake that you can't get rid of. But yeah, I think the overwhelming stuff is getting in shape, you know, being in shape, staying in shape, because that's going to always matter. That's always going to be important on any level of competition, whether it just be in the gym or, you know, at the Worlds. So that's probably the biggest thing. But
right.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your take on jiu-jitsu? Like, what's jiu-jitsu for you? That's kind of a big question. I'm sorry about that. But I mean, like, you know, when I talk to Gilberto the other time, it was like, for him, jiu-jitsu is all about the combat and all about the experience, and it should be hard rolling, and it's not into it's not into the new jiu-jitsu school, the flow roll and everything. So, I mean, everybody is different. What would be your take?
I think, obviously, again, me doing jiu-jitsu as a whole was for MMA. You know, right. It was exclusively for that. Like, I didn't start training in the gi till 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Like when I had to start teaching it and stuff.
Yeah, it was 7 years ago.
Right.
You didn't know how to tie your belt.
Exactly. So there's comps, there's brown belt comps where I had on a podium with a gold medal with the belt like tied like this.
I made a video about how to tie your belt.
Yeah, watch the video. So you know, it was just a part of MMA. It was something you have to do, you know, to win fights. But as I progress, and this is kind of my opinion on MMA as a whole, people eventually will pick. They'll never just do MMA. You get guys that will never be lifelong, I just train MMA guys, because what normally happens is they find an aspect of the sport, whether it be one of the three, jiu-jitsu, so stuff on the ground, or whatever variation of grappling you want, takedowns, so whether that be wrestling or judo or whatever, but you like that element of the fight, or striking, you know, boxing, whatever. So now you get guys, and because of jiu-jitsu's, you know, big presence now, you get guys that just like doing that. So that's on its own, you know, its own merit. So you have to judge that as that. But I don't know. Like I never got. Me personally, I was never just a jiu-jitsu guy. If I did jiu-jitsu, it was, you know, again for me. So I did something else as well.
Would you say it's still the case?
As I get older, as I realize that, you know, I'm not going to be fighting that much longer or anything, that no, I'm always going to be doing jiu-jitsu, because that's something you can do 100% or any varying of percent you want without getting a ton of crazy injuries all the time. So you know, it depends, and you have to judge it accordingly. You know, if you have a family and a full-time job and all this, you don't want to train 100% all of the time.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and you know, I'm a big exponent of flow rolling and all that sort of stuff, because to me that's fun.
Yeah.
You know? But if you are looking to compete, and then you need to guide it. You know, sometimes you need to train hard, sometimes you need to train soft, and find a balance. But you know, and again, it depends on how you're. If we're talking about, you know, people's opinion on running a school, you know, you can't, in my opinion at least, if you want a successful school, you can't just smash guys all the time.
Right.
You know, because some people don't like that. Now, whether that's their problem or your problem, if they're paying you, it becomes your problem. You know, so you need to kind of give and take, and we can talk about that forever, right? Like, I realized recently, like some guys can be, you know, have an issue with that, because if you flow too much with them, they're like, oh, he doesn't want to train hard. I don't like that. You know, or with the belt hierarchy and stuff.
Yeah.
If you flow too easy with a guy and he might get the better of you, then he goes home and he thinks he got the better of you, and he might say something in the gym, and it affects your reputation. So yeah, it's a weird. I can talk myself into circles, as you can see.
Right. So you were saying that you did jiu-jitsu as part of your MMA curriculum more than anything. Did you want more fight by submission than by knockout? Or
I think it's kind of 50-50.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't want to go on a rant about, you know, certain record websites, you know, but you know, I've had like 50 fights, 50 MMA fights, and it's about 50-50. You know, like I think I have as many KO, TKO stoppages as submissions, but yeah. But I think again, like I realized that my future and is in grappling, is in jiu-jitsu.
Right. Okay. And among the submission, like there is obviously this this very, very harsh armbar that you had on Patrick Valley for MTK, right? That's when you won the belt. How did it feel?
No, like Patrick's a super tough guy, and you know, you just have to watch his fights on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll put it the link.
You know, versus Boswick and all these guys, but you know, I was surprised. Like I don't want to get too into it again, but like I didn't expect to win that fight. I didn't go in there with the right idea of what was going to happen, and I was sure he was just going to, you know, knock me out. And I caught him, and I was like, okay, this is good. And I heard like the first crack, and then I heard like the second crack and the third crack, and it was, you know, I don't want to make the horrible analogy of like chicken bone,
yeah,
but it was like like this, and you know, it got to the point where I know I broke it significantly before he tapped, you know, and it was where it kind of, you know, whatever you would call it, hyperextended.
Yeah, why didn't he tap?
I mean, it's like anything. Okay, now this goes back to a concept that I like to talk about in the gym. Guys, especially new guys, white belts, some blue belts, will sit in subs.
Yeah.
And I think their mentality is he might let go. I don't have to tap yet.
Yeah.
So they'll sit there and then they'll get injured. As opposed to either realizing you can't get out and tapping early, or fighting to escape. And if you watch it, he didn't necessarily stop fighting to escape.
No, yeah.
Until he tapped.
Yeah.
You know, which in my opinion is the right way to do it.
Yeah, true. Warrior.
Yeah, so it wasn't the case of him just sitting there going like, okay, yeah.
But I mean, for me, like, your arm is broken. What happens if he goes till the end of the round? What happened?
Yeah.
The doctor will stop him? Or if he goes fighting, he's gonna go, what, with one arm like that?
You've seen videos, there are videos online of guys winning fights with broken arms and all that sort of stuff. So some guys can do it. Like I've had fights that I won with broken hands, you know, from the first, second, third round. So it's obviously an arm is not a hand, but it's, you know, you get guys to do it, and again it goes to his or people's mentality. You know, if you have that idea of you're going to fight to the end, then it makes sense. But the money we're getting paid at that level probably isn't worth it, you know, because I think he had a fight since.
Yeah,
you know, I think,
he won. Yeah.
So I'm really happy about that. But I heard he was going to retire after, which would be a shame. But yeah, I don't know. But again, it goes to what you want to get out of the sport. What do you want to put into the sport? You know.
Yeah. And what was that your favorite part, or your favorite fight? Was there a fight that you really enjoyed?
I don't know. Like I had a fight in Russia that was pretty good. You know what I mean? Or the Vaso fight in Belgium. But yeah, I don't know. Like it all. I don't know. Fighting for me is a weird, because it's not necessarily the fight itself that I enjoy. You know, it's not
the weight cut.
The weight cut I definitely don't enjoy. But I haven't had to cut weight for quite a while. You know, but not like the Bellator fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I enjoy the stuff that comes after. I enjoy the celebrating, as it were. You know what I mean? Like the fight.
Like leaving the venue with the money.
Yeah. Like that stuff's cool. You know what I mean? So whatever happens after that is the fun bit, you know.
Okay, right.
And because there's, for example, there's fights I've had that have been fun and fun for me.
Yeah.
You know, if I win and because they don't get hype or because they don't get pushed out and I don't have videos of or whatever, it's kind of a less enjoyable feeling, right? Like because no one knows about it or no one's seen it or you can't necessarily share that with people that might have been there.
Right.
So it's less enjoyable.
Right. So you fought in countless promotion, right? Big one, like you said it, Bellator. You prep guys for ONE FC, for UFC. So you know all those organizations. Which one is the best or the most enjoyable? I know it's a very difficult criteria, but which one, if you could choose, you'd fight for?
I think ONE FC for me has the best setup. You know, obviously being in Asia now, it would be a good connect to have. But like honestly, regardless of my future, you know, signings, they have a nice presentation on the show. They seem to treat guys well. So you know, probably my experience with ONE FC is probably the best.
Yeah, okay, right. Bellator, you didn't enjoy that?
No, like obviously, you know, it was a good show. They're obviously I don't want to number promotions, but it's one of the bigger shows. And I think now, like if I'm not dodging the question, but if I'm looking to gain something from the experience, you have to, guys who are going to fight or looking to fight or whatever, they have to look at it as what happens after their career or what can they use fighting for. Because unless you're a guy like, you know, McGregor or one of these guys that are getting tens of millions of dollars, you have to have several plans. You have to have, you know, so a show like Bellator or ONE or the UFC will put you in front of millions of people, you know. So what can you do with that? You know, you see guys now running social media accounts or selling merch or whatever it is. So like, and Bellator is a big thing that can do that for you. You know, so that's something I would look at guys, and I superly underuse those avenues. You know, so that'd be something if I was given advice on the subject, use the promotion.
But yeah. So Bellator, did they approach you? Was it your agent or?
No, I think I used Instagram to call them out.
All right.
I saw a poster in the O2 and I got in front of it and took a picture and was like, So you know, it just kind of went like that. But that's the way. Again, I don't want to be negative, but I feel like I'm steering that way a little bit.
That's fine.
But no, I lost a lot of money on the Bellator.
Well, yeah, and also if I remember correctly, weren't you scheduled to fight for Bellator in Ireland first? And then they rescheduled you for London.
Yeah.
You had to redo twice the medicals.
Yeah, so you know, shows like that you can kind of, and again, if you're not on the top end of the card, like you're not getting the money that you can afford to do that sort of stuff. You know, so that was an issue, but it is what it is.
Right, so leading to that, obviously, I'm going to talk a little bit about the UFC. What's your take on the UFC and what they're doing?
Well, the Fight Island was a good idea. You heard about that, right?
Yeah, I heard about that.
But yeah,
you told me just before I arrived, you know, that UFC is not happening. What?
But I get it. Like the virus is something important, right? Like you have to limit people getting together and whatever it is. But if we talk about the Khabib fight, you know, that's a fight that needs to happen.
It will never. No.
Yeah, was it fifth time or something?
Yeah, something like that.
But
who would have?
I don't know, man. I have to go with Ferguson. Like I like Ferguson. I like his style. Yeah, so I'd like him to win. Like I don't want to.
It's not technically. It's just like.
Yeah, I like him. I like his style. I think I would like him to win. You know?
And okay, so and against Gaethje, do you think he would have won that fight?
Yeah, I think he would have caught him. I think he would have caught him late, as even Gaethje predicted. He said, "Okay, I'm gonna knock him out quick, or later on he'll cut me or submit me or something." Yeah. So you know, I like that fight, but I don't know what they're gonna do. You know, the whole virus thing has hit everybody hard. So.
Right. And who would be your favorite fighter?
What, in general?
Yeah, in general.
Like now, like this is the thing. I kind of haven't checked. I'll check now, like fights to stay relevant or to stay up to date rather on what everyone's doing. But like, you know, Kazushi Sakuraba back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Was probably is my favorite. But
yeah. So what about quintet?
Yeah, we can
Why
make that
don't
happen.
you do that?
It's not like I have like a choice. It's not like people just why don't you go do that? Like
It's true, but I mean in Saigon,
send me a message, guys.
or even in Vietnam, like you said it. There's quite a black belt community going out. Zung Pham just getting his black belt.
Yeah,
so
congratulations on that.
So you could get like 5 good black belts and try to do a quintet stuff. Is that something you'd be?
Yeah, of course. Like, you know,
you're probably the heaviest, so no one can challenge you on that. So you'll be the heavy guy.
Yeah,
Well,
we can do that. Like, you know, I trained with some of the guys who competed on that in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Hassan Marida, his name is the big guy.
Yeah.
So you know, we could do that. You know, we've got some guys here. So whoever, but again, who do you contact? Like, unless spamming the guys on Instagram.
No, but I mean you got Luis, you got Pablo, you
No,
got
I know,
Gilberto,
I'm
you
saying
got
we've
you,
got
you
guys,
got To,
no,
you
sure.
got Zung Pham, you got a lot of black belt now.
Yeah, for sure.
That could get together and do something. That'll be fun. Fun for us, like to watch you compete, or like at the moment in England, like you know, there's a lot of 5-4-man tournaments, and they get a lot of vibes. There's something that could be done as well.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you know, we could set up like a Super 8.
Super
like
8,
like we had a little while ago.
Yeah.
Like, you know, not calling any guys out or whatever, but we could set that up.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be great.
You know.
Brown and black belt together. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
But you know, guys, because this is what I'm talking about in the sense of it being a throwback. You know, like to the old days.
Yeah.
You know, everything's kind of the Wild West. We can set up these little, you know, because you can't do that as much in the UK now because regulations or guys are scared to hold high, you know.
Yeah, and also money wise, like no one would do it for fun now. They want big cash, all of them.
Yeah.
Like it's not 500 for the winner. It's not going to be like that. They all want 500 and 2,000 for the winner.
Yeah, true.
So
and you know, I feel like we should be in a point where guys need to fight for their rep. The guys, who's the best guy here? You know, irrespective of coaching. You know, who's the best guy? And those comps can happen. You know, when all this is over.
Yeah, it'd be great.
But
that's cool. It's cool. So, and you personally, what's your plan for the future?
you know, again, I had some plans that I don't want to talk out of existence.
Okay.
But you know, I want to, like I said the last time I went, I want to be recognized as one of the best coaches in Asia. You know, that's something I always wanted, and you know, the market here is for that. You know, it's developing. Guys are hungry for it. So you know, I will, you know, eventually set up coaching here, whatever premise that is.
And so, for the moment, where do you train?
Well, as of right now, like in the front room.
Right, but what's your affiliation?
Well, yeah, I suppose it'd be the UFC gym.
Yeah!
So you know, when we open back up,
you can come and train with us.
but yeah, you know, and the goal is still to fight. Like I'm looking at, you know, 3 or 4. I get the number keeps changing. You know, when I was 25, it was like 2 or 3 more, and then 30, and so yeah, I still want to fight. Maybe 3 or 4, 5 more fights.
Okay.
And then call it a focus on jiu-jitsu, focus on coaching.
Okay. And you'll be competing in jiu-jitsu as well, as long as there's competition happening. Right?
Yeah, and hopefully, you know, that'll get set up soon. Governing bodies and you know, regular comps here. You know, something I'm looking into.
Nice.
So you know, that's the future.
On Valley, I think. Right. So you use your jiu-jitsu quite a lot in your MMA fights. If we're going back to strictly jiu-jitsu, what would be your favorite submission? Like you're known as, like for my guys, hello you, for my guys in the UFC and back in the UK when we trained together, you were the leg lock guys, because you were doing a lot of no-gi. Know that you more invested in gi, that you spent, what, a year in Abu Dhabi?
2 years.
2 years in Abu Dhabi, right? 2 years in Abu Dhabi training with the best people. Did you make famous guy there, famous jiu-jitsu?
There's a few guys. I'm not going to name drop. You know,
Okay,
but,
right.
There's a few guys.
And but so now, what would be your favorite technique? I know it's a silly question.
Again, it depends what it is. Like I still personally like leg locks. I fall onto leg locks a lot. I have the setup. But like again, it depends what you're doing. If I'm advocating it to students, you have to. I think Roger Gracie talked about it recently. You can brave a leg lock. You can brave an armbar. You can't brave a choke. So putting guys to sleep is always a good thing. But again, I'm playing with the gi a lot. So gi chokes and whatever. And I know you do that pretty well.
Yes, I love my gi stuff. But so you would focus your game on chokes now.
Yeah, 100. Because again, you have to look to the future. Like I am pretty certain that I'm going to be doing jiu-jitsu forever.
Yeah.
And again, guys are young and strong and explosive, so you have to, putting on limbs is going to be difficult for a lot of guys. So like focusing your game on chokes is always going to be variable. It's always going to be something that is going to have dividends.
And if you were asked to break down, would you go like choke, back choke, rear naked, or guillotines, or darts, or?
For positional dominance type, if we're talking about, overall, it would be from the back, because competitions we have score points from the back and whatnot. But probably,
It's funny, last class you did with us on the back, you were saying that people don't put too much effort on the seatbelt anymore. Why is that?
Because you kind of stick yourself into that position. Obviously controlling the back is important. But just sitting here, for me to do anything here, if I'm gonna even wrist control you, I have to take this off. And this from here to here is time that you kind of wasted. So sitting up straight away once I control the back, either going one here or whatever is a better use of your time.
Okay.
As opposed to sitting on there and just staying here like this. Although I'm not saying never ever don't seatbelt guys, because you have to depending on your forms of control. But I don't think it's necessarily the most. We can talk about like the regular hooks. If I keep the regular hooks, the only benefit of that now is for the points. I feel like either body triangling or controlling underneath one of the legs is a better use of your time. Control wise.
That's what you were saying. Put the hooks for the point and then go back to crossing on the kind of back half guard.
Yeah. Because again, if I'm looking to set up attacks, I have to start using my feet again. So me staying here kind of is a waste of time. But again, we either need to show that in videos or describe it in Danaher type of ways, which I'm not capable of doing.
Because you don't have a New Zealand accent, so you can't.
I thought it was English for the longest time, man. Like, I didn't realize.
You're gonna get Andrew upset. Anyway, well, thank you very much for your time, and I hope we're gonna see you on the mat, showing us a little bit of technical jiu-jitsu as well.
Hopefully. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.